I'm glad you still here with us, cause
Listen, I had to fight for my life.
Hey, who you know hella cold with a heart of gold? Slick was slipping in some gems when the shade thrown. Hit you with knowledge and polish, pushing the positive, steady, petty, plotting with the thought you get something out of it. That petty like a second language, speaking it fluently. Effortless with finesse to a T smoothly. Guiding you from breakdowns to breakthroughs per usually. Poetically petty, that's so juicy.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to season 2 of the Poetically Petty podcast. I'm your host, That's So Juicy, and today, you guys, we have a very, very special guest in the building. This guest is a retired Army veteran of like 21 plus years, okay? She is also a mommy, okay? A mompreneur. She is a daughter, and most of all, she is a sister. My sister, y'all. We got Felisa in the building. Not you doing the sound. What's up?
that's what goes on in my head. I hear. Hey,
I got you, y'all. I be trying to get her on the pod for a while. She just be like, any camera. She be like, I don't got time for that.
I know. I get so shy.
I know, but I'm always shy. I'm always nervous. And everybody like, why are you nervous? You do so well. But I'm like, I'm always nervous.
You
But
do
we
though.
here.
You do a great job.
I do. Thank you.
I'm
I
so
still be
proud of
nervous.
you, Mama.
Are we doing that? Okay. This episode is gonna be fun. We want to talk about this. It's gonna be a whole lot of laughing on this episode, y'all. It's gonna be a lot of inside jokes, but we're gonna try to include y'all in on these inside jokes. It just happens. We don't be trying to do it. It just be happening. But yes, y'all, my sister has, since I was in 8th grade, she has been in the military. She's finally retired, living that retired life. Okay, I got out. I didn't do a career like her. I wasn't. But we got out around the same time, so we gonna act
We
like
did,
I did.
and you remember that was the plan when I enlisted you. Is that I had 8 years to retire.
She got mad because I extended for another year. She said, "What are you doing?"
We weren't supposed to do that. We were supposed to get out at the same time.
Meanwhile, it was just a year. It was just a year. It all worked out in the end. But
Mm-hmm.
nah, the military had its ups and downs, y'all. If y'all don't know, for those who don't know, my sister, I joined the military when she was doing recruiting. So she was technically my recruiter. Y'all, I ain't gonna hold y'all.
I was and I wasn't because I couldn't, but
Right. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I went to MEPS and it was like, oh my God, that pamphlet you filled out. I was like, what pamphlet? And I was like,
no,
she know all my information.
no.
I was like,
Know
yeah,
what
I
you
did
talking
that.
about.
I did that. I think I did that. I remember doing that. But
That
nah,
is correct.
my process going through, they all thought I was lying when I came in the recruiter office. I was like, all right, because every time I would come to visit my sister at work, they're like, you gonna join? I'm like, heck nah. And then one day I was like, bruh, if I hit 25 and I ain't in my career, something got to change. And I had went to work. I worked in the mall and they was like, we ain't got no appointments, go home. And I was like, I can't do this. So I went to my sister's office. She was having a bad day. She had to get recruits. They was like canceling on her. They didn't want to recruit. And I was like, man.
I was
And I
rolling
ain't like the
on
way they was
donuts
talking.
is what they call it because I had zero. I mean,
And I ain't like how they was trying to play my sister and talking about sister, especially with her being the only female in the office. And they just like, oh,
woman.
she ain't got no recruits. I was like, yes, she do. The best one right here. Sign me up. And it was like, she BS. And no, I ain't. Sign me up. And that's how I got in. Because I was being petty to them. Because don't you ever don't disrespect my sister. Okay. But I signed up. It worked out. Do you miss the military in any way? Is there any things, or I should say, are there any parts of the military that you miss?
That paper, but other than that, I miss the good people. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, I think I've been blessed in my military career because every station I went to, it was like I was a magnet and the people that were for me came to me. You know what I mean? And so every duty station that I was at, I built great relationships with people. And the people in the military is funny. They all come from all different walks of life. That's why I was like, as an NCO, I ain't gonna talk to people sideways because you don't know where they come from. You know what I mean? You gotta respect these people because you don't know why they came up in here and what they're capable of. And so, but that's how I am throughout life though. It's like basic respect, you know what I mean? Because I would want that. And so when I spoke to my juniors, they knew they can come to me. Even the ones when I had to get in there, really discipline them and everything like that. When they really had issues, they knew to come to me. Even though I will get on them and make sure this, and they were upset with me, they knew in their time of need that they can come to me and I'll take care of them. And that's the type of NCO I was. So what I miss about it is the good people, the good mentors that I've met and the good soldiers that I met, because, and being able to mentor, junior soldiers, because especially when I became a senior NCO, it's like these people that was coming in was like a few years, even a year older than my oldest son. You know what I mean? And so it was like, you're able to mold them and see what they can become. And, even to this day, I got people that used to be my soldiers, whenever they get their promotions. Hey, Master Sergeant, I made it. I did this. I made the list, this and that. Or can you look at this packet for me and make sure I want to go to the board and everything like that? I'd be like, I'm out in the military. What you calling me? You better get But I never turned down, and I love it. But when I joined, I was in high school. Like I was in high school and I was enlisted. So I graduated high school June 12th. I was in the military June 21st. You know what I mean? Like I was shipping off June 21st. And I really didn't tell anybody because, coming from Youngstown, it was rough. It was a rough place, to grow up in. And we have lost so many people, family and stuff like that. And, I'm Y-Town to the day I die, it's in my blood. But at the same time, I never really felt like I was supposed to be there. And so even when I was a kid, like you see Nate and Mom be like, and even you be like, you remember such and such? And I'm, nah, I don't. Or they be like,
she was like, no.
This road, and you go up this road, and you take. And I'd be like, I am lost. Where are we? Are we on Market Street?
But in your defense, though, you left right. You weren't even driving yet. So me, when I left, I only know Youngstown. I don't know them suburbs because I was barely driving there. So yeah, I get that. But I agree. I definitely miss the people. Some of the people.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When it came to the military, the good outweighed the bad. But when I knew I had to retire is when the bad started to outweigh the good. You know what I mean? And getting older and the injuries, and it was just a lot.
Like dogs in the military, y'all.
And so I was like, if you're going, the best thing you can do is get out and let somebody who is physically fit and mentally strong to take your place, And so it was a hard decision to make, and it was very scary to make because that was my job. That was my career. That's what I knew, you know what I mean? To the point, I'll go out with my friends who got out years ago and, something happened and I'll be like, oh, and they'd be like,
stop it, no.
What is a hole? And so I'm finally at that point because I retired in 2021. And I'm at that point to where it's like I am completely separated from it, and I do miss the people. I do. And I wish throughout my career, one thing I wish I could have done is every duty station I could have taken the people I love at the one that I'm leaving to the one that I was going to, and just build up and build up. I just want to have a huge party with them, you know what I mean? And just had them all
Yeah,
come
I
together.
was talking about this with someone. I was like, I would deploy one more time if I can pick the people I deploy with, because
Right.
I actually enjoyed deployment
Mm-hmm.
and what we did out there. And it's like, if I could pick the people, because just like any other job, you know, the people you work with can make or break it, like make or break your entire
Mm-hmm.
experience. And I just was like,
Yeah.
if I can pick my team, my company, whatever, the people that I'm under and
Mm-hmm.
working with, I would deploy one more time. I would do it. Like the
Yeah.
whole
Me
year, I'm
too.
out. Like
Me
I would
too.
definitely
I
do
do.
it because I miss the people. I miss the range. I ain't gonna hold you. I miss the
Yeah.
range. I
Let me,
miss popping all
you,
them weapons.
something wrong with you. But what people think the military is so serious and this and that. I tell you, I laughed so much
Listen,
with the stupid things people.
you have to have a sense of humor in the military to do
You
that. You have
gotta.
to.
If you don't, you're not gonna make it. If you take everything
Mm-mm.
seriously, you're not gonna make it. And I'll sit back and I'll be like, why did he do that? You know what I mean? And we'll, after it's over, after we have resolved the issue, we'll sit back and be cracking up laughing because, it could have went worse, but we're like, why you
Listen,
do that? Why did you do
army
that?
with that army what the fuck page.
It's so funny. And I used to, when I was on, social media like that, I used to scroll and just die laughing because it's so, people be like, oh, that's exaggerating. And I'd be
Mm.
like, nah.
Like you don't understand. You had to be there. You had to be there. All right. So we talked about the things that we love about the military. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into that first segment, and this is called Petty Pet Peeves. But this
Okay.
time, because it's my sister and we're both veterans, we are going to do military version of Petty Pet Peeves. All
All
right.
right.
Do you have any pet peeves when it came to the military? I know we got a lot, but what's your
I
number
gotta
one?
go. Okay, so my pet peeve is mass punishment, right? That's the one. That's my serious one, right?
Ah,
And so my pet peeve is, and the military, they do things if there's some type of rhyme to the reason of why they do things, right? Then they try to build, teamwork and everything like that. But I never was one to do mass punishment. Also, uh, I hated when the good soldier, the hard worker, was always put on something while the other, the ones who, you can't rely on this soldier, so you don't really put him in charge of anything to do anything and everything like that. But that good one, they're always putting on this, they're putting on that. They're not letting them go
right,
do things because the mission will fail if they're not there. You know what I mean? But I was the opposite. I reward the one who was doing, you know what I mean? Because
right, because they
they
gotta
deserve it,
learn.
you know what I mean? And the ones who are messing up, okay, you messed up, so I'm retrained and you're going to go back and do it, you know what I mean?
Right,
Until you get it
right,
right, you know? You're not going to do that, oh, let me mess it up so they'll never ask me to do it again. No, player, you
right.
need more training, you know?
Because they would do that on
And
purpose. They knew how to
they
do.
do. They do.
E4 Mafia.
Uh-huh. Thugs. Uh, but another one, cat in a long meeting, I could have probably been an email. Um, right when you be like this, you be like this. Well, I'm gonna touch on. No, stop
I want
touching
a
on stuff.
caveat. Sit
I'm a
down.
caveat, sir. Caveat through that email. See your caveats in the email.
Bruh, because all they just want to, and then they just say the same thing that was
The
just said.
same thing. And the one that who was who would say the same thing over and over again. Like they'll just say it, and then you're like, all right, I got it. And then they'll bring it back and say it again and just keep. I'm like, sir,
Sir.
you
It's
said the
always a
exact
sir.
same thing 4 times. So we get it,
Sir.
Um, But yeah, man,
That's
it was
definitely
fun though.
caveats
It
one of
was fun.
mine. Cause it's like it's like a pissing match, low key. They're just going back and
Yeah.
forth with caveats, and I'm gonna touch on this and piggybacking. Don't piggyback,
Oh,
don't
don't
caveat, don't
piggyback.
touch nothing. Knife
Get
hand, don't
off his
touch
back
nothing.
and
Don't
stop
piggyback, don't
touching.
caveat. We heard it, we got it.
Right, right. You
Sick
know what
of
I
it.
could have done? But
Man, I
yeah.
just be like, listen, when I brief and I was a lower ranking, I was always the lowest in the room when I had to brief. And I'd be like, all right, look, this is what it is. This is if y'all have any questions, my email is at the bottom. Email me your questions. If it's not directly related to, if it's personal and it doesn't address the group, just go ahead and email me. I'll do that out there. Pending any questions, sir, ma'am, sir, major. All right, S6, we out. And I'm like, sir, do you mind if I leave? I actually have work to do. I don't think anything else in here. Can I leave? Because I'm not even the OIC or the NCOIC. So, and they're like, go ahead. Then everybody would get mad at me. I don't. And then some high ranking person would be like, why is it that the lowest ranking person in here had the best brief? Because I don't got time for this. That's why. I don't want to caveat. I don't want to piggyback. I don't even want to be here right now. So that was my biggest pet peeve. My other pet peeve is I hate when it's anything to celebrate in the army. Because you know how we celebrate in the army? We run. And I don't like running. And then when we run,
Let me
they
tell you something
always
about
want some
running, man.
There's always
I
somebody that
always
want
was terrible.
there's always someone that interrupts, like, okay, we gotta run. So you gotta put the hype man on the cadence, okay? Put them out there. So we
Listen,
out there, we
I
running,
gotta
we
get
hype, we
out
like
there first. I gotta get my
ah,
cadence
right.
out first.
Because I can't breathe.
Because at the
But we
end, I can't
running.
breathe.
They see we hype, and then that one, hey, let me get on. Let me get on. And they're like,
They go to
nah.
mine.
Then they let them get on, and they call the most annoying, most unhyped cadence, and we like,
They gonna left, right,
please
you
put
left,
so and
right.
so back on the map.
What's your favorite
Why did
one?
you want to get up here?
What's your favorite
Running
one?
cadence? Dang, it was one. I got two, and it's only when Siren Ross. Shout out to Siren First Class Ross. When he does it, it was rock steady. It'd be like, rock steady. What you say? Rock steady. What you say? He goes, lean right, lean left, lean
Yeah, yeah,
back,
yeah.
lean front, in the middle, rock steady. What you
Hey.
say? Rock steady. What you we be like, ah. And the other one is also Sarah Ross. He'll be like, who's got my yo-yo? Who's got my yo-yo? I don't even know the rest of
Damn
it.
yo yo.
But the yo-yo, because we'd be like, who's got my yo-yo? That was those was my
Mine
running
was
cadences.
quick time march. Hey, you start
I don't know
walking.
that one. Oh.
Yeah, you know it. You know that one. Everybody know
Bruh,
that one.
bruh, you
Quick
wasn't
time.
ready. Hey,
I'll be in
yo,
the back
speaking
with the
of
other
cadence, though,
rhinos.
let me tell you how petty I was with cadence, right? They used to get real mad. First of all, so they started making all student leadership do like march and call cadence. I'm like, I don't want to. I already got enough responsibility. Why I got
You
to do
got
this too? So I was like, all right, y'all gonna put me on a mic. We about to listen to the radio. I was up there and I used to do the beginning, but then after a while they loved it. But the like, the people that's like to the book, they wasn't messing with it. But I used to be like, left, your left, hey, left, right, your left. And I'd be like, hey, Captain Jack, hey, Captain. And I'd keep switching. I was singing the first part of every one. And it was like I was changing the radio station. I'll see which one they get hyped to. And I'm like, all right, we're going to stick with this one. And I'll do that and I'll finish doing it. They're like, pick one, Tony. No. Sing all of them. Or
Tell
y'all
you,
could put
man.
me back in. Then
I
on
gotta be at the
on Captain
front.
Jack, I was like, put that needle in my hand. Everybody looked back. I was like, I'm gonna be a tatted man. Tatted.
Huh?
They was like, fall back in. I said, okay.
Say less.
Okay. But nah,
Man.
those my pet peeves in the military was more so like, or that NCO. hurry up and wait is already annoying. But
Mm.
everybody had that senior NCO or some first sergeant that apparently did not like being at home because they always try
Ah.
to keep you there late. And I'm like,
Mm.
sir, ma'am, sergeant, whomever, you might not like your family, but I would like to get back to mine sometime today. And we would
Right.
always sit there. It was just always something like, well, we're going to stay until everyone can get what?
Well, and that was another thing that made me mad. Is like throughout the whole day, you're not doing anything, and then they wait to the end of the day to do something and say something needs to
Right.
be done. It's like you knew this. Like just wait till tomorrow, and then that way we have something to do throughout the day, you know. But
Right.
you
Like y'all
know
knew that we was going y'all was in briefings all morning. We had nothing to do. We could have been out doing something else. Like y'all
yeah,
could have told us what we needed to prepare for. We could have been doing something. Now y'all want us to clean, eat, inventory, cyclic. I'm not doing all of this. Like for
yeah.
what?
It all could have been at least halfway done, you know. But
At least. Like I
yeah,
just
that
be like,
was
man.
that was that was that was the BS. That was just like, all right. But army soldiering is easy, really.
Yeah.
It's not as hard. If you're physically fit and you got some common sense, being a soldier is not. And then
And they're gonna get you
it's so
physically
many
fit.
benefits. It's so many benefits to it. Like, you know, everybody's like, people go in the military when they don't have anything to do or this and that or they ain't got nothing. No. Because I got a battle buddy right now that's in and she about to get her doctorate. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's some smart people in the military, you know?
Out
Like,
here.
don't play you know what I mean? They have some education
Right.
and then it's just people who want to, you know, honestly, they're pretty smart because they're getting their education paid for without student debts,
Right.
you know? And
Yeah.
so,
Student debt wiped away. Oh, I just thought of
uh-huh.
another pet peeve.
and, and then, you know, the travel I joined, I said, I want to travel. These cats had me in the desert. I said, this is not the type
not
of
here.
traveling I said
This
I
ain't what
want
I
to
had.
do.
Can I see that brochure
Hello?
again?
Hello?
Right, here's my other pet peeve. I forgot because I'm just thinking army. I was in the reserve, right? I cannot stand when active duty try to come for us and be calling us weekend warrior. You don't know what you're doing just because y'all be seeing them few soldiers in army. What the F? Okay. First of all, I have a degree that's higher than yours, sir. Okay. I get paid more than you, sir. And then I come here on the weekend and get the same benefits as you. Don't be sitting here trying to play
Hey,
me.
in our defense,
And I can outshoot you now. It's a few of
in
them
our
that don't know what they're
defense,
doing.
right? In our defense, you know, I got to defend. I'm active duty. Y'all be coming in on that boom.
I'm like, what is it?
Y'all be coming in with some bull mess. All right. Well, let me not say
Man.
y'all because let me tell you,
There
them
are some, don't get
reservists.
me wrong, because we be looking at them too, like, y'all embarrassing us.
No,
But
the National Guard and those reservists, they about their time off and they ready to party. Okay, because I worked with a unit here at Fort when it was Fort Hood. And I was with the reserve unit. And when I tell you, them cats want to party, right? They don't want to wear the right uniform. They was just like, but you know what? I'd say this about the reserves. They had common sense. They did a lot of shit that was like common sense. They were just like what I was saying. Why wait till the end of the day to do it? They'd be like, go home. You can do this tomorrow. This is last
work
minute. You know,
smarter,
like,
not harder. We gonna find a
yeah, it
shortcut.
was it was a lot. I say this about them. The only thing, because don't get it twisted, I was all for it. I was like, yes, this go wait till tomorrow. If it's not something important, all right.
Mhm.
Let me rephrase that. But the only thing is that they had common sense, but they was not trying to know that regulation. They was like,
Listen, some stuff
they
we ain't
was
never
not
have to
trying
touch.
to. They were like, I'm like, ma'am, sir, sergeant, that is not the right lesson. enlisted can't be fraternizing with officers. And so
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
like,
They didn't care about that.
they really didn't, because towards the end, it was so many
Yeah.
fatigues with officers and enlisted. I was like, y'all couldn't wait till y'all got home.
Nah, they don't be caring.
Y'all only
You know how
here for
many
a year.
yeah. I mean, even on deploy, I can't even say that. Even on deployment, that was a thing.
It
Now
was
there
shit,
are
but
some people that I
they're
just
not
be
the only
looking
ones
like,
though, because I know some enlisted who was similar, but it was like when it came to regulation, we just had to remind them like you can't do that, like you
right?
can't do that, you have to wear that, you can't wear that, you can't do that, and it's just like okay, and then it was like you know they want to boss up because of their rank, but then at the same time they're like, hey sergeant, how do you? No, put that base bag in that.
I wasn't. Me and my
What's on
little
that base
E4
bag?
Mafia, I'm like,
Yeah. Hey,
this
everybody
needs to
talk
be
about
done, and
E4.
I'm gonna do it if you let me do it. But I need a sergeant or somebody hired to sign this, and this is what I need to do. So what I need you to do is sign this off and get somebody to come help me because this needs to be done. And if it's not, this is gonna be wrong. They'll be like, okay, whatever you
Let me
need.
tell you
Thank you.
something. My favorite rank in the military, my favorite, absolute favorite, is the E4 Mafia and corporals.
Gang,
Okay.
we got stuff to
Anytime.
do,
No matter when I need something to get done or I need a little muscle,
bruh. I'm
especially
trying to
them
get out this
corporals, boy.
uniform.
Them corporals, I be like, look, hey, corporal.
Hey, go up, Rob.
Listen, because out of all the ranks,
They got
the
something to prove.
E4s had more common sense. You know what I mean? They did stuff out of, because if it's stupid, the E4s they gonna find a way to get away from it, or they're gonna be like, hey Sarge,
Listen, and
hey
will
Sarge, hey.
indeed. Listen, and it's straight
For
SARM. Hey, SARM.
me,
Just like say the
for
whole word. I don't
me,
got time.
I had an E4 who was prior service, who served in Desert Storm. Oh, head, okay? And we friends to this day, but I just having older soldiers under me, it was just like I just cannot. Yeah, I cannot. First of all, I'm not a yelling person. I'm not a yelling type of NCO, but him, I was just like, look, I had to get on him one time because when he first got there, he came up to me, bebopping. Sergeant, I said, hey guys. He reminds me of that to this day, but he excellent soldier, excellent, and deployed together, and we just laugh to this day of the dumb
Let me tell
ish
you, you're gonna be so
he and I
entertained
got.
by E4s. You gotta have an
You
E4 in
you gotta have at least 2 or 3 E4s. I'm telling you, they're the best. They're the best. They are the best. Those,
funny.
and then the junior the E1, the sweet little E1s that come in, they got their little
No.
fuzzy on there.
No, they be irritating
You
too.
know, oh no,
Those the ones that be giving us mass punishment, man. Talking
no,
about
it's
police
like
up your
because
battle buddies.
it's so I love them because it's like they're so eager to learn. Though they mess up, but they're so eager to learn, and when they mess up, they beat themselves up so much, and you're just like, it's okay,
I always took them under my wing. Them
Yeah,
E3s though, E3 and E6 can both get these hands. I can't stand either one of them.
monsters is what they are.
Just like
Absolute monsters. Them
uh,
PMCs.
like
Out of control. I don't know.
and
I
them
love them.
E6s.
Them junior soldiers, I just love them because they just want, because I saw how I was back then, always,
Mhm.
nervous, don't know when to salute. I ain't got my headgear. Do I salute it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just, you just see them processing everything and just
Mhm.
eager to learn, and
You
I get so
become
excited because I'm just like, I can pick them out. Like, that one's going to be a lifer. That one's going to do this. That one's going to get their degree and then bounce. That one's going to, you know what I mean? That one's going to go
Right.
officer. That one's going to go uh, warrant officer. You could just see, you know what I mean? You could just see the path that they may take. And I love it. I loved it. Let me not say.
But yeah, you can see that because it's like because when you're a senior enlisted, I feel like you become like you're almost like their parent. We used to call my NCO and AIT. We didn't say it to his face, but we called him Sergeant Daddy Ross because that was like our dad. You know what I'm saying? He always protected us when we was getting in trouble. He like, hey, I got them. Them mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, them mine. Come on, come over here. So it's like you become a parent, you know, in the military. You kind of see that. You take people under your wing. But speaking of parenting, we're going to go ahead into the next segment. This is called petty parenting. Now, let me tell y'all, I ain't got no kids, but her kids are my kids. Okay. And when I tell you, I think it stemmed from mommy petty. Okay. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why we got a little petty in us. But
real quick, let me reference y'all to know that our mother is the baby of the family.
Right.
She is the baby. And so go on.
She is the epitome of the baby. Okay. The epitome.
She's
When
the
she
baby.
do stuff, I look at my siblings and I be like, did I act like that? Y'all like tell me if I'm doing
we're gonna be
right.
like, yes.
But nah, let's go into petty parenting. There's so many examples that I can think of with my nephews. And for the record, y'all, my nephews are the most amazing. Her kids, you guys. Her kids. I mean, but all of my nephews, but we're gonna talk about her kids, right? They're the most behave, amazing young because they're grown.
They
Amazing young men. They're so polite, they're so intelligent, and they funny. They
when
funny.
I found myself like, when they make a joke, I was like, I won. They funny.
I did that. And do you have any moments that you can recall where you were petty, like with your parenting or your teaching or whatever? I definitely
don't know
got
if it's petty, but it's so many incidents.
There's so many. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go first.
Right, y'all. So when it comes to me, one thing I can't stand is a crybaby. Okay, and I was always the one to help. Like when she would be at work and everything, military. Okay, sometimes she gotta. I'm telling you, those NCOs be want to keep everybody there late. Okay, so on those nights, I'm taking over the lesson and all that. So my oldest nephew, he would, when it came to homework, he was very competitive. He's like me, so I got to get this right, I got to know it. And he would always come if he don't understand it,
so bad too.
he would cry and be so, and I'm like, calm down, Andrew, look, we gonna figure it out, it's okay. I'm like, okay, let's do it one step by step. And he's like, I just don't want, and I'm like, okay, come back after you done crying. And I'm not helping you. I know he's crying and I should comfort him, but I'm just like, I tried. I'm not going to help you. This may be petty, but I was like, I'm not helping you until you're done crying because we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere. So I would never help him if he was crying. And sometimes he'd be holding it in. I'm like, you crying? He's like, no. I'm like,
my little baby.
I felt bad. So I'm like, all right, you ain't crying. That little one though,
he a Taurus.
Okay. Listen, me and him would be going at it. Didn't matter what it was, y'all. He would find a way. That Taurus, he would find a. I would sit there, and this was my daily conversation with him. This is how the conversations always end with him. You're 5. You're 5. He's 5. You're 5. I'm not arguing with you because you're 5. Like,
He gonna win
And he would
though.
just be like,
And if
and
you
this
find
was,
yourself arguing with a 5-year-old,
go,
they already won. You lost.
bruh, 4 and 5 was them years. And I'm like, you're 4, you're 5. I'm not arguing with you, you're 5. And he'll be like, so? Ah! It's like- so I would never do that. Or another time is when they wanted to, like, they were becoming big boys and they wanted to make their own breakfast or some
Oh,
sandwiches. And I'm like, okay. So Armand, the youngest, wants to make his own sandwich. Drew did good. Drew was really good with it. Armand wanted to, and he made so he's allergic to peanut butter, so he made jelly sandwiches. He made a jelly ham and turkey sandwich. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna make you eat it because
it
you
was
made that.
Thanksgiving sandwich.
I was about to make him eat that sandwich, y'all,
No,
until I remembered he has a weak stomach and I would have had to take care of the sick kid. So I threw it away. But any other thing that he made that wasn't gonna make him sick like that, I made him eat it because you're not wasting food. That's what you gonna eat
but
that.
you failed to tell the rest of the story when Andrew was he was crying. What Armand said to him.
I was skipping past that part.
So when she's helping him with his homework, Armand, I'm gonna just say their names. He goes up to Drew, and he's crying, and Armand goes up to Drew and he says, "It's okay, Drew. I don't like her either." And
It's
just like,
like, yo, I turned around. I said, "What? Anybody said they ain't like me?
when did we say?
When do we say this?"
I
Like,
was
what?
at work. And she
And
told
then
me, I
Andrew
don't
stops,
know.
bruh. Andrew stops crying a little bit. He goes, "What? Yo,
He meant
kids,
it too. He was just trying to comfort his older brother. He said,
bruh."
"It's
He
okay,
ain't crack a
Drew."
smile. He ain't make eye contact, nothing.
He
He
meant
meant
it.
all of that. And I was just like, ain't nobody even said they ain't like me. Talk about I don't like her either. Who said they didn't like me?
ESP, ESP.
Yo, kids. All right. What
Oh,
was your petty parenting moment?
okay. Same house, apartment, townhouse. And I just had a long day at work. It was a long day. And we were all downstairs, and it was time for the boys to go to bed. And so I think mom was there at that time too.
I know
And
what you're
so
gonna say.
they were scared to go upstairs. They were like, "Something there." I was like, okay, ain't nothing up there. I think I actually checked and I came back down. I'm like, ain't nothing up there, okay? And then so they were upstairs, and my oldest, he wasn't gonna go to bed until the youngest was ready to go to bed because he's not going up there by himself. And
Uh-huh.
so they were halfway up the stairs, and I was like, and they were like taking their time. And what did I say, Jen? I said, "Man, get up them steps. That ghost ain't gonna do nothing to you."
And all you hear from upstairs. So we had a loft, y'all, so you could look over down to the living room and kitchen. As soon as they get upstairs, like you can't really see them anymore. The lights are off and all that. She says that, and all you hear is Andrew like,
And you hear footsteps. Just
my mom was like, Phil.
so mad. She was so mad. I'm like, okay, okay, okay.
Me, I'm on the couch crying, and Armand is just like, oh well. He don't be caring about nothing. That
No.
youngest one don't care.
What's
Oh my
another
God, I forgot
one?
about
Let
those.
me see.
Oh man. I don't know. So this isn't your parenting towards your children, but this is your protecting to your children. And I mean, to be quite honest, she did it. The fathers have done it. I have done it. Okay. They remember the bully on the bus.
Oh, the bus. Oh,
The
so
bus.
my kids went to school. They were elementary, middle school, and high schoolers. They all were in like the same building. And so it was two incidents. One incident is little girl slapped my son in the face on the bus, and the bus didn't do anything. And then I go to the school and I say something like, "All right, this got to stop. And then so the kids come home and they're upset, they're mad. And let me tell y'all, I ain't even gonna talk about the smack because I was really upset about that. And then and so they come home and Armand, he don't play about his older brother. And so he's like, they're upset and I'm just like, what's going on? They tell me what happened. And so it's this high schooler. Remind you, my kids is in elementary
I think it was
school.
like first and third or first
Yeah,
and
it's
fourth, something
so
like that.
first and fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Andrew's red face, Armand's red because he angry, And so, I'm really mad at the bus driver because I'm just like, you're allowing this to happen. Now, if they were to do that, it would have been an issue. I would have been called to the school.
Right.
So, after, so, I met them at the stop, right? And so I get up there
I'll see you at 3:00.
And so I get up on the bus and I'm talking to the bus driver. And I'm like, look, if this happened, this is continuing to happen and everything like that. And so the kids get off and then the high schooler is big, you know what I mean? Like a girl, she's big. And I'm just like, so I'm like, I'm about to go to your house. Tell your mama to come on out, your daddy, your mama, I don't care. And like, she's
whole bus stop followed her home.
Yeah, so I'm walking.
She forgot to mention she was in uniform. Okay, and this is not a military town. You were.
Anyway, so I don't, one thing I don't like is bullies. I can't stand bullies. And I understand, well, they're probably getting bullied at home. Okay, I get all that. But not mine. Okay, don't mess with my right? Don't mess with anybody else. And especially with such a huge age gap. And it was just like, I wasn't gonna do nothing to that girl. But at the same time, I'm just like, she ain't messed with him since. I'll tell you that,
Right. No, because something else happened though. Something
What?
else happened, and you were at work. I don't know what something happened. I forgot what it was, or maybe you were at training. I don't know. But at this point, I'm in the military now, so I went up to the bus stop in uniform. I'm reserved. I didn't got to wear that, but I put it on. Went up to the bus stop. And it was the same girl or maybe somebody different, but I walked her home. And she's like, my mom's not here. Well, when they coming back? And Drew, and it was like, Andrews, please. He was doing no confrontation.
Like,
I think that time she did something to Armand.
they were, and it was like, and we were in upstate New York, and it was just like, cut it out, cut it out. It's not,
but then y'all don't be looking at us, okay,
yeah.
like we just the angry women, because Josh put on his cop uniform and did the same thing when Drew was with them, didn't he?
So yeah, so Drew was up in Montana, and it was this kid who was like, look at the little black boy, you know what I mean? And just taunting
situation.
and Drew, he's just head down, and he's really meek and small. And and this and that, and then so his father ended up being there to witness it. And the kids just in Andrew's ear, hey, little black boy, hey, this, you know what I mean? And then Drew's dad, who was a police officer, got up on the bus and was like, hey, I don't know exactly what happened, but he confronted it right then and there. And I'm just like, it was tough. It was just like, I can only imagine the stuff because Drew is a mixed race, child. And, I spoke to him not too long ago, and, it was like, and he admitted that he was like too black for white and too white for black, you know what I mean? And it was just,
it's a struggle, but he does with it very well.
He does. And, and looking at him, you can't tell he's a mixed race, kid. He
darker than me.
Some days. When he told you light skin don't burn.
Oh, let me tell y'all about this one. So there I was in Hawaii. My nephews and my sister. We scuba diving, okay? Me and my nephew Andrew is the light skins, okay? I'm getting a little sleepy. They putting on her and my nephew, right? They brown caramel skin. They putting on sunscreen. This little one gonna look at me and say, "Aunt Juicy, light skins don't burn. We good." I'm like, "Oh, all right." Got burnt. You hear me? I ain't never got burnt before in my life. I did, and he gonna look at me because he didn't get sunburned and say, "You sure
Nah,
you
he
ain't the
just
big
got a little
one?"
mocha. He just got a little almondy. He was a little almondy.
He gonna ask me, "You sure you not biracial?" Excuse me. The shade.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got a little toasted. That's all.
Listen,
Jen, you just got peeled. You was peeling.
I don't
No.
even know. I just start peeling everywhere. It hurt when I put the towel on me. I ain't never had no sunburn in my life, but that Hawaii sun, don't mess with it, cause man.
Me
But
and our mom,
that
we
was the
was
thing.
lathering up. Everybody think black people don't put on sunblock. We sure do. When we put it on
I
good.
usually do, but I listen to the nephew. I'm like, he been here. You know what I mean? He knows. I'm
And I
good.
don't know what
I'm
he's
ready to get
talking
in this
about because
water.
I normally put it on him, but he's high school. I don't. Yeah, you on your own now,
Right.
but
I was just trying
you
to get in
picked
this
the
water,
wrong one.
and I got in
I
the water and
listen.
got burnt.
We were darker than y'all. What you thought? You
I know. I don't know why. I
you
don't know
better
why I
listen to the
listen to
dark
you.
skins.
Now listen. Now here's the thing, y'all. We gonna let's go. We talk about petty parenting, but let's talk about petty siblings, okay? Because this is I always
Yes.
listen to her
The
over her
dumpster.
sister.
We always everybody. It's so funny because I be online. And everybody told the youngest they were found in the dumpster. Man,
Oh my God. Listen, this is a whole nother episode. Let me tell y'all, they didn't tell me I was adopted. They used to act like I was invisible. Okay. They made me
oh,
ride my big at my grandfather's, my favorite person in the world. She was just like, I'm telling my grandfather you're here. Why are you here? Like, I'm crying. Bruh. My brother made me ride my big wheel down the hood steps, okay?
I just want Nate was. I had to fight him. I fought him on numerous occasions because
Listen, we gonna have to get this one on.
I'm glad you still here with us, cause
Listen, I had to fight for my life. I'm fighting for
I'm
my life.
so glad.
Listen, I'm so glad you here. I wouldn't have been here if you ain't make it
Listen,
off that bridge that you jumped off
listen.
of.
What Kevin Hart say? What Kevin Hart say? I almost lost
Somebody
you
had
there,
to go.
didn't I?
I thought you were about to say somebody had to go, daddy. Y'all, my brother made my sister. You know how your friends, this is back this fits into petty parenting. You know how your parents would be like, well, if all your friends jump off a bridge, would you do it too? That don't work on my sister because she actually did it. My brother told her to jump off
It
this
wasn't one of my
bridge. And
friends though. It wasn't one of my friends though. It was somebody who was my confidant. It was somebody I was supposed to trust. Yeah.
y'all, for the record, my brother is the oldest, okay? The only boy and the oldest. He is supposed to be our protector and our provider. But I guess he made us tough
Beelzebub
because he
is
used
who
to
he is. Lucifer himself.
listen, he used to be tagging us, bro. Let me tell y'all. We got in so many fights, okay, growing up. That was what we did for fun, okay? With my brother. But let me tell you how petty my sister and I are. My brother was tall. He was like 6'4" at 13, okay? Tall, way stronger than us. So we had to team up to protect ourselves and survive, okay? But
And we did.
although he made me ride my big wheel down some cement steps and I tumbled. Although she jumped off a bridge and broke her arm
I
because of
didn't
him.
break nothing. I
I thought you
twisted
broke
my
your arm.
I twisted my
Oh.
ankle. Yeah, because I was
Oh, okay. And he broke your pinky toe. Let's not forget that.
That's
The pinky ball.
man, call him up.
We
Oh yeah.
got a score to settle. But listen,
I got some beef
I know
with
that
him.
sounds bad, you guys. I know this all sounds bad, but we got our lick back a couple times, okay? Because for about 2.5 weeks, he had to walk around with no eyebrows.
No, see,
Man,
we
we blew
didn't
his...
do that. That was divine intervention, is what happened right there. It smelled like burnt hair.
He was missing a half an eyebrow and his eyelashes. Mommy's like, "What is wrong with your face?"
Listen, old school ovens. It was an old school oven, and the pilot went out. And
Oh
the
no, I'm
pilot
not
went
even
out.
talking about that time.
You're talking no. See, that's when the eyelashes and that chest hair.
But
And
remember, let
so,
me tell you. Go
which one you
ahead,
talking
tell
about?
the
The
story.
spray? So back in our day, we had gas ovens, and then if the pilot go out, you have to get under there and you got to light that junk. And so this fool had the gas on.
I forgot about this.
And so he's down under there, and they gonna light it. All you hear is whoosh.
Woo.
You hear the metal on the stove. There's click click I hear.
Oh my god.
Eyes as big as saucers. You hear me? And me and Jill like, what happened? Eyelashes burnt. You
A little
White
bit of
chest
chest
hair.
hair.
You see brown balls on it. On his chest.
Got your ass.
Hey, the Lord said, leave us alone.
And
Leave
he
us
did.
alone.
I told you, I'm one of God's favorites, okay? But the time I was talking about is when we actually, my mom used to work like overnight, or she used to work through the day. Sometimes she
People
do
don't need to
doubles,
know
right?
this.
And
People don't need to know this business.
because they always be like, "Where was your mom?" So we would
She was
always fight. It
working.
was the cousins, the girls against the boys. That's what we do. And if they weren't over, it was just my sister and my brother. So our weapon of choice, y'all, was a lighter and some spritz.
Mhm.
So
It was
do
the
not do this.
hairspray. It was
Don't do
hairspray.
this. Okay,
Now,
don't do this. I'm not
you might not want
condoning.
to say that because you don't,
Don't do this.
you don't want to
I'm
get
not
blamed.
condoning this. Do not do this. Do not try this at home. We were professionals, okay?
Yeah.
But we so the way the house was, it was like you can go through the kitchen either way. So this way would take you through to the kitchen and upstairs. If you went the other way, it'd take you to the basement and into the kitchen. So essentially it's a circle. So we chasing each other around living room, kitchen, right? So we stop and my brother is still running. My sister comes the other way. I'm chasing him. I think I'm the bait. I'm chasing him so she can get position. She's sitting there. She got the lighter lit, right? As soon as she feel him get close, she sprays the hairspray, and it was like, whoosh. He stopped and was like, bruh, eyebrow gone, lash gone. All we crying, laughing. Oh my god, he had to
No,
walk
I
around. I think
mean,
we filled his eyebrow in.
we
Wasn't no lashes back then. We couldn't do nothing about that.
we 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 play a little dangerous. We
We
probably
did.
could,
We did.
and
I
we
was telling him I'm from the hood. Okay, we just
it was stuff now that I would just like as a parent. I was thinking like, Lord, please don't let my kids be doing the shit we was doing because we
Listen, we used to get into stuff. Y'all know how many
we
food
just
fight anything. We're fighting about anything, but it was always fun. It wasn't like, oh,
it was fun
it,
until it what
it was
till,
our
till
fights were
things got
always
real.
competition. Right. It was always competition. It wasn't like we was trying to take each other out for real, I mean,
Yeah, we
if you ain't try to, your sibling, did you really have a good childhood?
I was the
But
one. I was the one. He brought me to that a few times.
man,
He was we it was rough growing up with an older brother.
bruh, we
It
was like
was
his
tough.
rag dolls, and we had to just, we had to swing to stay in the fight.
I think he was just a mama's boy and he did not like attention taken away from him. He just,
Maybe
cut
he's the oldest. You know what I mean?
cut that out.
I don't know. We gonna have to bring him on to ask him one day. But
He
nah,
just
we didn't have like certain things that we people look at and it's like, oh, I didn't have this growing up. I didn't have this growing up. I can say there's a lot of things that I feel like I didn't have, but I don't
hmm
feel like anything was missing because we had a
right.
fun childhood. Like
And so
food
when
fights, I always
all
want to do a
three of
food
us
fight.
when all three of us together were together, it was like that was life. We even if we were struggling, if we didn't have something, as long as we had each other, we were fine.
Right.
It was when we didn't, and that's when
Right.
it
Not
became.
listen, y'all. Don't get it twisted. I mean, we gonna stay on this petty siblings, okay? Don't get it twisted. We be socking each other in the house and everything like that. But if somebody from the outside come in, all that rage is getting
I
flipped
done
to them.
stuffed up a lot of people over you.
Man, let me tell
You
you,
were the
my sister
youngest
had
man, and it was like,
because they're older than me by like 8 7 years, right? So like
mhm,
anytime I'm outside playing, and I don't know why, but I always had older friends. Like I had friends my age, but I always had older friends. Just like she said, like being a magnet, like you go somewhere, you just draw people to you. Like I'm just
mhm,
here surviving, living, right? But I would always get like older girls that's like, oh, let's play, you're my daughter, and they just would want to be my friends. I'm like, I'm 5, you you 13, sure, whatever.
right.
So they would like do stuff like that. But then I remember the one girl across the street when I was 5 on Denick across the street, was playing, we was playing house something, I don't know, and she was like pretending to like I got in trouble or something, I don't know. But she pushed me down on the driveway that was sloped down, and I fell backwards and I hit my head. And
Mm,
I start crying. I don't know if you heard me crying or if I came to tell you. But
it
when she
was.
pushed me, she didn't say sorry. She didn't help me up. She didn't do it. So it was like, is it intentional? You know what I mean? And they used to act like their family used to act like they were like jealous of us sometimes. So some of the stuff they was doing, you
I
ain't
don't know
really know.
why.
You ain't know.
We
So
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I came in, the one of my other friends that was my age, it might have been Henrietta. I don't know. But
Mm,
one of them took me home across the street, was walking me home because, like, I'm like dizzy. I hit my head really, really hard. So they were walking me home, and my sister hears me, and she's like, the friend was helping me across the street. And as I was going into the house, my sister hears me crying. So she's coming down the stairs, and she's like, what happened? Y'all, I tell her what happened, and I'm like, oh, she pushed me. All she heard was she pushed me. When I tell
girl.
y'all, my sister jetted across the street. The girl was still outside, and she ran into her house. I can't tell you how many times I done seen my sister run up in somebody's house and beat them.
You
Ran
say
into the
all that,
house,
you just gotta get there.
bruh. She drug her down the steps, like And then the thing I feel like in her mind was like, I can't fight you in your house. I have to bring you back outside,
Mm.
because she was always dragging somebody back outside.
And
And
then
then some girl
I'm
did
down.
what somebody did something to Nate on the bus, like took his headphones or something. It was a girl. She snatched her
Mm.
up too. Cause why you don't mess with my siblings.
There was Nate. Nate, he swung because it was a guy who started. He wanted to protect her, and so he ended up getting busted up by both. And then it was Mark when we were living on Wiseman. You could. I'm always in the house, right? I'm always in the house
So
after
y'all gotta stop
school.
going outside.
Yeah, and so when I'm in the house, I was like eating some cereal or something, watching TV, and then Juice come in, and she's crying, and she has like blood coming down her arm. I put that bowl of cereal down. I said, "Who did it?" And so she said, "Mark, boy, when I tell you, I scuffed him up on that
Yeah,
brick
I don't even
road,
remember
that
this.
cobblestone road. I tore him up." And I was just like, when are y'all gonna learn? Leave her alone. Like that one, y'all need to just leave alone,
To this
okay?
day, to this
To this
day,
day.
listen, she be scrolling.
And
She
back
be
in the
scrolling.
day,
She be in the lobby. She like, is they talking about you? Because I'm like, bruh, log off. Just log off. Yeah, I was posting a video of me in a club, okay, and I'm like this, just listening to me. She like, I don't like how that person behind you was mugging you. Why she looking at you? I'm like, I don't even know them people. I don't know. It's okay.
I guess so. I have to get off these internet streets because I get so. You should have seen Nate one time when you did a podcast. He said, "Hey, you hear how this?"
Look. My brother be hyped too. He sees something and be like, "No, tell him. Tell him I'm gonna be outside here." And I'm like, "Bro, no, it's the internet troll."
And it's like, we're older. We need to stop. Like this,
You could take him out the hood.
I walked 5 miles today and my hip was just like, I just gotta, and when it comes to these, let me tell you something. I watched this show. I can't realize what I can't remember what I was watching, but it was a show. And it was, my crime shows. And then, it was like a documentary about how they were like the internet trolls, right? And they were showing like this group of people who were just researching, and then they were like harassing this one girl and everything like that. And then they showed the trolls behind it. And I said, this is who pissing y'all
Exactly. And that's why I be telling y'all to chill.
off. I said, you know what? They're miserable. They're
Yes.
miserable.
Yes.
And if you was to see this person on the street, they will bow their head and scurry off
Every
somewhere
time.
else.
Every
And
time.
I was just like, I gotta find that video because I was like, Jan, when I tell you I was looking at the TV like,
But this is what I be trying to tell you. So they ready. They don't want to hear nothing. They ready to, hands, right? But me, I'm a mess with you mentally. I'm not even about to
right.
mess up my manicure. Like I'm a mess with you mentally and I'm gonna read you. Like I'm very intuitive and I will read somebody so badly to where they're gonna leave or the troll end up being my friend, trying to be my friend. But I'm gonna read them and I'm gonna do it that way. Then if that
Mm-hmm.
don't work, sure. But like I'm just like one. Here's the thing about trolls, and what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to the next segment, and it's gonna be poetically positive, okay? Because I want to get serious on this part, and I want you guys to like understand that I'm being serious because this is something that really goes on. So when it comes to trolls, like most of them are miserable, and they're projecting. They don't have anywhere else to put it. They're projecting, or they just want some attention. They're not getting attention, and the easiest way to get attention is to insult someone. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
compliment someone and they're just used to getting they're just like thank you and keep going about their day, right? But if you insult them, now you got their full undivided attention. They're gonna go back and forth with you and they're gonna do all that. So when it comes to trolls, I'm just like half the time, if not most times, they have nothing to lose and I do. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna do, and then they get like this sick like satisfaction
Satisfaction.
of seeing you lose something, or that's why these internet trolls do all that stuff and then they try to go to your job and get you fired and everybody reporting you, all this
Yes, and that's
different.
what they were doing.
No, I got
Yes.
something to lose. You gonna stay at the end of the day when I sign out of whatever platform I'm on that you're trying to get to me or troll me or I just block you. You're still going to be over there angry and miserable. And I'm going to be over here I'm going to forget about you by tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get to me. And I guess and I just remind them like no, and they'll try to punk you and try to manipulate you and be like, "Oh, you scared this that and that's why it's true. That's why you're saying no. What's true is that I have something to lose and clearly you don't. You don't have anything
What
to lose. You're
what
miserable
makes
and I'm
me
not."
sad is the people they do get to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like the ones that are not mentally strong,
Right.
or they were, and it was just so much that broke them down. It's so sad
Yeah.
to see these people who, like you said, have nothing to lose, take so
Yeah.
much from these young people, and it's just, don't get it twisted. Some people who are in these streets doing stuff that out of hate, I get. But those people that you just don't like because you don't like the attention they're getting and everything like that, it's just
It's
so sad.
jealousy and envy.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
that they
so
don't like
sad
you,
to
it's
see
that
them break down.
they they want what you have and they're upset with you. They don't dislike you. They're probably a fan, but they're upset with you because how come you get that and I don't get that? Or how come when I try, that's why people go around and they're mimicking you, or they're mocking you, or now they're taking your lingo, they're dressing like you, they're doing the things that you're doing. It's so many people that do that. I'm just like, you are a fan. But instead of
Mm-hmm.
trying to, it's one thing to be inspired by someone and then start to try to do the same things they're doing, but in your own way. It's another to try to convert everything they're doing to your own. You know what I mean? For instance,
Mm-hmm.
like on, we're just gonna go to with TikTok or Instagram, where you have to get followers and supporters and people that do that. It's one thing when you're like, okay, this person is making funny videos or dance videos and they're getting a lot of support. So I can dance, I'm funny, I'm gonna do the same thing. And because they inspired me to show the world too. And then you get followers, that's cool. But when you see this person is making comedy sketches this way, and you do that, but you then try to steal their following, you know what I mean, not organically grow, now you're angry if it doesn't work, and you're going to be envious and mad at them because you can't steal their followers, like, you know what I mean. And it's just like, be yourself. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
hard, but a lot of these people also, they're not being themselves. They're not 100% living their truth. And they can see someone who is, and who is peaceful and happy living their truth. And it creates anger, it creates envy, and they're upset. So that's why anyone that I'm like, I'm cool with, I mean, even my nephews, I'm just like, no matter what you do, and I say this on like every episode, no matter what you do, someone is always going to be upset. Doesn't matter. You can't please everybody. So do what you want, okay? Just make sure the person that's upset isn't you. Why would you do all these things to please all of these people, and at the end of the day you're unhappy? And then it's still gonna
Mm-hmm.
be somebody that's mad. Like, you know what I mean? So now you unhappy, you bitter, you don't know what to do, you're lost, you're angry at everyone that looks like they're living their truth because you wish you could be, in that space. So just live your truth. The people that's supposed to be around you are going to find you. But only when you're being honest with yourself, only when you're living your truth and doing what you want to do. Now, when I say do what you want to do, I'm not talking about, I'm saying, anything that's going to hurt or harm anyone else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, live
Yeah.
your truth. That's why my bio, if you guys see any of my social media, my bio is somewhere working, twerking, and or worshiping. And I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of y'all are like, you can't do all of, yes, I can, and I do. That is my truth. I'm always working. I'm doing something, okay? I like to dance. I might twerk. I like to dance, okay? I'm not out here with no clothes on, bent over, and you can see all of my inside parts, but I like to
Yeah.
dance, right? And I love God. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
clearly one of God's favorites. I don't know if you have noticed yet, but definitely one of
Mm-hmm.
God's favorites. So I'm always giving thanks. I'm always praising. Now, my praise might not look like the next person's because I don't feel that I have to sit here with a tambourine and all of this, but I thank God every day. Like, multiple times a day. I have so many blessings. So yes, I'm going to do all of those things because that's me. Let me worry about what God's going to think when I get to the pearly gates. That's what I have to worry about, not you. And I don't worry about what you're doing and what you got to do. When I get up there, it's just going to be me and God. Like, I don't, let me worry about that. I appreciate everyone's input. I appreciate everyone that wants to, you know what I mean, preach to me or tell me, oh, you can't. I got it. I appreciate it. Just pray for me. That's it. Let me worry about what I'm gonna have to do at the pearly gates.
Mighty, you know
So,
what? And at the same time, don't even pray for me because I don't know what your relationship like.
and I was gonna say it, but I wanted to be positive on this episode. But real quick, if you're not right with God, don't mention my name.
Listen, leave me out of it.
Leave me out. But let me
He know
ask
my
you,
heart.
what advice could you give my listeners on a positive note, something that you feel would help, or what advice have you received from someone that has helped you in life?
Well, I would say, and this is what I'm learning now at my big age, is to learn to get out of your head. Get out of
Mm-hmm.
your head and go for what you want to go for. Don't be so much of a perfectionist
Right.
because I have the two P's: perfectionist and procrastination, right?
Oh,
And those two just don't go together,
they be
right?
killing each other. Hmm.
And I get so much in my head to where it's like even with this, in my head it's always like, oh, I got it. This have to be perfect. I have to do this. I have to have this a
Right.
certain way. How am I going to sound? I don't like the sound of my voice, and stuff like that. And it's just like, you only have one life, right?
Right.
You only have one life. And I'm at that point to where it's like, live it to the fullest, right?
Hmm.
I had a friend named Anthony Smith, and he was my biggest cheerleader, right? And he always told me how wonderful I was and all the things that I can do and who I reminded him of and everything like that. And only now, he passed away, and only now am I thinking in my head is that I want to live as the person he saw me as, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
in this life and have done nothing. Granted, I've done a lot, but I feel like there's more. So my advice to who's ever listening, do it, right? Do it. I'm doing things that younger me wanted to do but was too afraid to do it, right? So I
Right.
have a list of things that I just was like, even as a child, that I wanted to do, that I'm
Hmm.
just doing, right? Different classes, different lessons, different activities, that I
Right.
just was like, let me try it out, because, people be like, well, what's your hobbies? What do you like to do? Well, I like to do a little bit of everything.
Right.
And I
Right.
am not, and that, I'm telling you, if you name it, I could probably be like, yeah, I know how to do, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
Right.
yeah, I know how to do it a little bit, but I'm not the best at it. And
And that's okay too.
instead of me knowing a lot about, knowing a little bit, huh? Knowing a little about a lot, I'm trying to master,
Right.
you know, just a few things, because I could do my own hair. I could do my own brows. I can do my own lashes. I can do this. I can do that. I know this, a little bit of this language, a little bit of that language, but I
Right.
don't know. You know what I mean? So even with language learning, I'm trying to just focus on one at a time, right? And
Right.
so that's my advice. Get out of your head, focus on what you want to do, try different things that you might like. And if you find something that you like, become the best at it.
Right. And it's okay to do because I love to know a little bit about everything. I want enough to I dabble in a little of everything, right? Just enough for me
Yeah.
to make it, just to be like, oh, I've done this. So, um, but I
But
definitely
I don't
agree with if it's
finish
something that you
anything, you know? And that's my thing.
right.
I
No, no,
don't
no.
finish. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of things that can be like your hobbies or something. Like I've been dabbling in makeup. I've been learning to do my own hair, but I'm not trying to. I don't feel I need to master these things because I'm not trying to do this for anyone.
To provide a service. Okay, yeah.
Right, right. But I'm just
Mhm.
like I do enough for me. You know what I mean
Right.
to do this.
Save some coin.
I
Like I,
right. Like there's little things around the house that I know how to do because I used to work with my grandfather, right? But I'm not
Mhm.
trying to become, I'm not trying to do roofing. I'm not trying to do I could do enough to patch it up and
The
to manage
same.
until someone else can come. Now, when it comes to the things that I really do love, like, my career stuff, learning to do this, learning just with like the spiritual things and the different businesses I have. It's like, yeah, I went to school for some of those things. I started to learn because this is what I really want to do. This is something that I want to provide for others. So yeah, I'm going to try to master it. But like you said, we're one person. We can't do it all at once. So it's like, okay,
Mhm.
let me back up. Okay, because who am I in a race with? Myself? Like, what?
Right.
Why am I
Right.
rushing? You know what I mean? Why
Mhm.
am my
And I'm
bills
in
are
that
paid?
mindset of I don't have enough time. You know what I mean? I don't have
Right,
enough time. But um
right.
there's time.
And
No.
it's one thing for me, and I'm gonna just be a little vulnerable on here, maybe because it's my
No, come
sister.
on.
But
Go
one
ahead.
thing for me that I feel like I was rushing and that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind is the fact that I don't have kids. I'm not married and I don't have any children. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like I was supposed to do this because when you're in high school, it's like you're supposed to be married and have kids by 25, and you got you, girl, no.
25 is that number, yeah. That's
Like, girl,
everybody's
no.
number, 25, yeah.
Mm-mm. But even now, it's like, yeah, you have that biological clock. All right. As a woman, we do have a biological clock. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want anything that isn't from God. And if God said
Mm.
not right now, then that's what it is. You know what I mean? Of course, you
Yep.
do want these things. But if God is telling me that now is not the time or this isn't for me, I ain't fighting with God no more. Like, you know what I mean? So this is my
Yep.
advice to y'all. Don't fight with God. Don't do that, because I was thinking I was so far behind in life because I like all of my friends are married with kids. Everyone's married, everyone has kids, all settled down. And to mine, I didn't know, but as I'm looking at them like, "Oh my gosh, like I want that. I'm so far behind in life." They were looking at me like she's just living freely. Like she out here,
Mm.
she's doing everything she said she was gonna do. She's traveling, she's doing this and that, and I'm out here doing all the things they're admiring them. So it was like that was an eye opener. So I shout out to my friends that kind of was like, girl, why you no? Like, so shout out to my friends for doing that for me, because I really was feeling like I was behind in life
Yeah.
because I'm not a mother. And they're like,
Mm.
you got your nephews. I'm like, that's not the same.
You're not
Like,
mine.
right. It's like that's not the same. But
Yeah, I get it. And, I always bring that conversation. And, when I was visiting you and I asked you that question, because
mhm,
um, I think you'll be a wonderful mother and wife. I think you got it, right? Um, and I thought you had that with someone, but it wasn't the right one. It was a
right.
lot of wool being pulled over a lot of people's eyes.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like you're wonderful. You're a great individual. You've done so much, and I am very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I would love to have a little niece or nephew on your
I know.
side. But my
Your
thing
mommy
is
be
this.
like,
My thing is this, right? It's okay if it doesn't happen too. You know what I
right,
mean? It's okay
right,
because um it wasn't your path, right? But you're
right.
doing great things, right?
Mhm.
And my kids, they look at you as aunt, sister, mother, you know what I mean?
They
And
don't respect me. It's like, no.
yeah. And so they see you in that light. And
Mhm.
when they're going through hard times, they're like, I need to call. Yeah, mom is here, but I need to get Aunt Juicy's advice,
Let
right?
me tell you, when they
So
call, I just be like, "Oh my God." Like,
yeah.
and Andrew,
It's
that oldest
serious.
one, I'm about to hang up
Yeah.
on him like Peppa Pig because he be getting me emotional. But he's like, I'm just so proud of you. And I'm like, which one is the adult here? Like, wait a minute.
but they both feel that way, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And here's another thing, right? And I love that you want to take the path of being married, have kids. That's the right way of doing it, right? But no, let me not say it's the right way. There is no right and wrong way because
Right.
I have been a single. I've been a floozy my whole. No, let me. Both I haven't been married and I have two wonderful kids. And
Mhm.
would I have liked to be married? Absolutely. Would I have liked to have help
I
from
mean,
someone else and have
technically.
two incomes, you know what I mean? And everything like that. And not look sideways being a single parent, and especially in the military when I just can't
Mhm.
go do something because I have a kid who's sick, or but would I have changed anything? No, because like you said, God has a way. He has a way of doing things. And
Mhm.
never once, even though I work hard, even though it was one income and I had two boys who depended on me, they never was hungry. They
Right.
never went out. You know what I mean? They had each other. They had me, you know, and we're like the three musketeers. We have each other. And the fact that my kids, instead of leaving, they wanted to stay in the area near me. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? That made me feel
Right.
really good. But if someone was to come to me and be like, you sinning, you know, like you had kids out of wedlock, I'd be like, yo, get out of my face because God sent me these kids, right?
Right.
And you can't tell me
Right.
otherwise. God
Mhm.
sent me these two. And these two have been, and I'm telling you, you know, I know you won't, we getting vulnerable and everything like that. But when I was going through stuff mentally and everything like that, what kept me on that cliff, kept me off of that cliff is what I should say, is you and those two boys. Because whenever I had the thought of, I just don't want to be here, right?
Mhm.
In my mind, I see Armand's crying face, Drew's crying face, your crying face, right? And y'all heart just breaking because I'm a
Mhm.
Leo and I think I'm the center of the universe. But anyways, I just see y'all sad faces and the pain y'all will go through it if I wasn't here another day, right?
Right.
And so that pushes me to continue on. And that's
Mhm.
another segment. Mental health is not to be messed with.
Right.
People think it's bad to seek counseling and everything like that. Saved my life, right?
Right.
That saved my life. Because there was just times that I just never would have made it.
For real.
Right? It was just times that that I just could not make it. And
Mhm.
it was just a chemical imbalance, you know, that I was suffering. I'm at 27%. and and seeing and I people talk about how they don't have that internal monologue when they're reading books or anything like that. But
Mhm.
that internal, and God, I got it because I was able to envision the pain. And that's one thing
Right.
I just don't like to cause is pain
Right.
to people. Right. And so my another advice, if you feel like you need mental help, get that shit. And
Go.
don't think
Like
you're weak. And don't think you're weak for getting it. Because you're not, you're
that's why I tell people
stronger.
like it's so hard to admit when you need help. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
strongest thing you can do is admit it and then go get help. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's really it's really really hard for some people, especially if you're the strong friend or you're the backbone of the family, if you
Absolutely.
are the one that holds everything together, you're the income source. It's hard,
Yeah.
okay?
It's very
And
hard.
it's okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
go get the help that is needed. There's so many people out here and like there's ways and there's
Secretly, or
funding.
secretly, and it's like,
Mhm.
don't, when you allow people to know that you are going through that, they feel okay to admit that they go through it, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
like, and it's okay, y'all go through
Yeah.
that shit together, make it out of the fire together.
Right.
Um,
It's definitely. And I know for some people, the thing is like finance. There's so many programs out here and so many things that will help you
mhm,
get the mental health
mhm.
and get, like something, you guys. We not this podcast isn't sponsored yet, but one day we'll be sponsored, and hopefully, I would love to have a therapist, better help, or something like that for you guys
Yeah.
to use. But
Mhm.
there's so many people, so many platforms that have BetterHelp as a sponsor. There's so many coupon codes out here. There's so many ways around
It,
it, guys.
I believe because I had to use BetterHelp before I was able to get um, my insurance to cover. But I think you get 3 free sessions with BetterHelp.
Okay.
Um, but it's there, guys. Get it,
Yeah.
like get
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
Don't be ashamed for getting it.
And don't let nobody talk you out of it
And
or
don't
down, because a lot
and
of times that's them projecting.
that stuff. Black people and Christians don't. I'm black, and I
Let
mean,
me
I'm not
tell
in
you.
church, but I'm spiritual. I believe in God, and God told me I need therapy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
And
don't
sometimes you
play.
just have to get that off your chest. And I'm gonna end with this
Mhm.
here, because we gonna go on forever. But I'm gonna end with
I
this, and this
know,
is
right?
something that, if you haven't noticed, my sister and I are really close. And there's one
Anybody?
time where
Yeah.
we had like butted heads a little bit, and it's when I was deployed, and it's because I felt like I was calling my sister, right? But I kept getting Master Sergeant Tony, and I was getting frustrated. And then, when I would call Master Sergeant Tony, I would get my sister. So it was like sometimes, the different hats and everything like that wasn't coming off. Or, she would call me and she's just like, I just need you to listen. So one thing that has helped our relationship, not that our relationship was horrible, but it's helped a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you guys this. One thing that's helped us is when I call, first of all, when you call someone, ask them if they have the capacity to even
Mhm.
hold what you're about to dump on them. Okay. Don't just dump, because sometimes that's a lot for that person too. But what also helps is when I call or she calls and I'm talking to her and I'm like, I need to vent. The response will be, okay, do
What
you want me to
I
just
asked.
listen or do you want
Hmm.
advice? Off rip,
Yep.
we're going to ask each other, do you want me to just listen? Do you just need to vent or do you need
Anytime.
advice? And that helped us a lot, because a lot of times when you just need to vent, you don't want to hear them tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing, because
Right.
I just need
Hmm.
to vent. And then sometimes when you need advice and you vent, they don't got nothing. You just like, ah, you know what I mean? It's frustrating. So that is something that during deployment we started to do that, and it really helped, because I didn't like button heads with you. It was like, we ain't never had that, like, I'm hanging up, don't talk to me, I'm mad at you. We've never had that
Hmm.
up until
Especially not
recently.
at that time, especially at a time to where it's a possibility
Right.
you won't be back and we won't, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, um, yeah,
And
no.
I don't like to show emotion a lot of times, so I don't even be telling my family some things. Sometimes I try to handle it internally. So when I finally do go to open up and I'm like not getting what I need, I'm like, see, this is why I don't even talk to you. You know what I mean? But it was just me still being in my emotions and still trying to figure out how to process these things. But for anyone who's watching, if you find yourself, even a spouse, a loved one, a friend, whatever it is, if you're calling someone, first and foremost, ask them if they have the capacity first. Because as the strong friend, as the friend I get a lot of calls and stuff, sometimes I just don't have it. And I feel like it's rude sometimes for someone not even to ask me, like, well, hey, how's your day going? Like, dang, you know what I mean? Like, don't just dump on me all the time, but ask if they have
But,
the capacity, and then ask them, okay, do you need to vent or do you need advice before they go on, so you know what type of friend or what type of sibling, spouse, whatever you need to be for them in that moment. Go ahead.
but if it's serious and you just can't take like, for example, if you're calling someone and you're just going through it and you ask that question and they say no, that can be very heartbreaking. So with
Yeah.
us, even if I don't have it and you really need me, you better dump that
Right.
mess on. You know what I mean? You better
Right.
come to me, because I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I really need someone and
Yeah.
I
When
just don't
it's
have the
like
strength
that,
now. Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. But some people just call you every time.
Oh yeah, that's that
Let me
bullshit.
tell you
No,
what this girl did at the copying machine. Girl,
yeah, that's different. That's
not
different
today.
because especially if I got done meditating and I'm in my nah
Yeah.
player. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, dang, I just wiped this out. Like, I just cleared this section
Mhm.
out. But go ahead. But no.
Call Tamika, Acacia, or somebody.
Right.
I can't do it today. Call
Or
Tyrone or
JG
somebody.
Wentworth, 800. No, I'm kidding. But no, that definitely helped. And I feel like that will help a lot of you if you're finding yourselves in those situations. Definitely, ask, okay, before they start to vent. Okay, do you just need to vent? or do you need advice? So that will really solve a lot of problems. At least it does for me, not even just with my
It
sister,
does.
but with
Like
other
even for to
friendships
this
and
day,
relationships.
we'll ask,
Yeah.
or
Other
before I can even ask if you want to vent or you need advice, they say, I'm just venting. You know what I mean?
right.
I just need
But
to
I
vent.
mean,
And then it's,
we're close enough that when you call me and you be like, man, what you doing? Hold on. You be like, you wait.
yeah.
And I'm like, just go ahead. Like
Mm-hmm.
I already know. I'm like, just
Mm-hmm.
go ahead, let it out. Like
Yeah.
whatever it is, just go ahead. I'll call her and I'm like, what you doing? And she like homework. And I'm like, all right, well, she be like, what? I just wanted to
But
vent.
as soon as I'm done clicking that bad boy out, I'm calling right back and be
Right,
like, what's up?
right,
Or, yeah.
right.
Or I
But
can
nah,
just
it definitely
hear
does
like,
help.
hey, yeah.
Right. But that's helped our relationship. Not that our relationship was ever really, it was just that in that moment it was, but it
Mm-hmm.
was a lot going on my end.
Mm-hmm.
So we figured that out. But this was a really good episode. I think we gave you guys a lot of good gems here, a lot of laughs. Okay. There could have been more, but we're gonna have to bring her back for another episode because let me tell you, we can be on.
Absolutely.
One day I'm gonna have to get my brother on here too. All three of us.
Boy, listen now.
It's gonna be.
you
Oh
see,
no.
you see in the cartoons, all you see is a big thing of smoke, and you see feet and fists coming out that bad boy,
That's gonna be us. That's gonna be us.
hanging
But
out
then we
that
gonna sit
guts and
down at
stuff.
dinner. We gonna get the
Right,
dinner.
right.
We gonna sit down and
And then
chill.
we can talk about how we ain't allowed to play Monopoly, and
Oh no! Look, you know what? Don't even. On
Monopoly's
that note, you
banned.
guys, we gonna go hand in hand. We not bringing up Monopoly.
Ooh,
But no,
ooh,
yeah.
child.
Listen,
It's
let the
dangerous.
people know where they can find you, you guys. I'm trying to get her. She's been starting a lot of stuff, like she said, but I'm trying to get her on her
Sorry,
YouTube tip because when I tell y'all the girl can do hair, the girl can do hair. Let me give you your flowers before we end, okay? She is not only a military veteran who is extremely smart, funny, she is a family comedian, okay, clearly. Family comedian slash boxer. Um she's an
no, take those
amazing
off.
mother.
I cannot.
Amazing mother, you guys, an amazing friend. But when I tell you she is very talented, like very talented. She be drawing, she crochets, okay, she does makeup, she does hair. When I say does hair, she don't just be doing, a lace front.
Braids. I do braids.
She do braids. When y'all be seeing my hair done, she do braids.
Locks.
She do locks. Okay. She do sister locks, certified. Okay. She was at one point she was licensed cosmetologist and she would do nails too. She be doing a lot of
Oh my
stuff.
God.
Okay.
Mom, I'm
So
terrible right now.
it's okay. So, and she was doing all of this while she was still active duty in the military, full time mom, all of this. Like she was just learning all these things. So she's very talented, you guys. She just don't be having time for the internet. But we gonna get her on there. So let the people know where they can find you, where they can follow you. And y'all make sure y'all go and follow her. Okay. Go follow, go support so we can see more of my big sister, Felisa.
Let me hide these nails. um, I underscore am underscore Felisa, Phylisa, Phyllis with an A.
Right.
On YouTube and also on TikTok, but I currently don't have Facebook and Instagram. I'm taking a year off. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. Well, thank you for being on my podcast. Finally, I was
Thank
gonna
you
tell
for
mommy if you
having me.
wasn't. I was gonna tell mommy. Uh,
Hey, now.
but
You know she
no.
like
Listen, she'd have called you too, and I'd have been sitting here listening. But nah, I'm so
that's
happy you
that
came.
the baby.
I'm so
And
happy you
exhibit
came
A.
on the podcast. Let me get through this. We're definitely going to have her come back, you guys. So make sure you guys go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Y'all, this is season 2 of Poetically Petty Podcast. I'm your host, That's So Juicy. And I will see you guys later. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow the podcast at Poetically Petty Pod on Instagram. And I'm thinking about making a TikTok, but we got to see what's going on with TikTok. But if you guys think I should make a TikTok for the podcast specifically, let me know. But you guys can also follow me, That's So Juicy, on TikTok and Instagram. Other than that, I just need you guys to subscribe. We're trying to still reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers, guys. We are almost there, almost halfway there. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is free, y'all. It's free. And if you don't want all the
99,
notifications,
$3.99.
it's free. Just click the button, y'all. Click the button. And we got some amazing guests coming this season. I'm super, super excited for the guests that we have. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And we will see you guys next time on the Poetically Petty Podcast. Peace.
Poetically petty, that's so juicy. That's her.